Every great civilization in human history shared one obsession: not gold, not power, not religion, water. The empires that mastered it rose to dominate the ancient world. The ones that lost control of it vanished forever. Today we're going on a journey across four of history's greatest civilizations: Mesopotamia, Egypt, China, and Rome, to uncover the single secret they all figured out and what happened when they forgot it. Around 3500 BCE, in the land between two rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates, something extraordinary happened. For thousands of years, humans had survived as nomads, following rains, following herds, living at the mercy of nature. But in Mesopotamia, modern day Iraq, a group of people called the Sumerians decided they were done chasing water. They would bring water to them. They dug the world's first large scale irrigation canals, channels stretching miles across the flat plains, pulling river water directly to their fields. The result was extraordinary. For the first time in human history, a society could grow more food than it needed. And with that surplus came something entirely new: civilization. People no longer needed to farm full time. Some became priests, others became soldiers, some became scribes, inventing the world's first writing system called cuneiform just to track grain they were storing. Water didn't just feed Mesopotamia, it created it, but there was a problem. The Tigris and Euphrates were unpredictable, flooding violently one year, running dry the next. Managing them required constant coordination between cities. When that coordination broke down through war, drought, or mismanagement, so did the civilization. By 600 BCE, Mesopotamia's great empires were gone, buried under sand and silence. While Mesopotamia struggled with its wild, unpredictable rivers, Egypt had something almost miraculous: the Nile. Every single year, like clockwork, the Nile flooded, not violently, not randomly, but predictably in late summer, depositing rich black silt across the fields before retreating. The Egyptians called it Achet, the season of inundation, and they built their entire civilization around it. They developed one of the world's calendars, not to track time, but to track the Nile. They needed to know exactly when to plant, when to harvest, and when the flood was coming. This predictability gave Egypt something Mesopotamia never had: stability. Egyptian farmers could plan years ahead. Pharaohs could commission massive building projects, pyramids, temples, obelisks, because they always knew food would be available. The Nile also acted as Egypt's highway, transporting stone for the pyramids, soldiers to wars, and trade goods across thousands of miles. For 3,000 years, Egypt endured, longer than any civilization in history, largely because the Nile never let them down. When the climate shifted and the Nile's floods became irregular around 2200 BCE, Egypt's old kingdom collapsed almost overnight. Famine swept the land. Pharaohs lost their divine authority. The lesson was brutal. Egypt wasn't built on, it was built on water. On the other side of the world, China's early civilization faced its greatest enemy, the Yellow River. The Chinese called it China's sorrow. It flooded so violently, so unpredictably, that it has killed more people throughout history than any other natural disaster on Earth. But 4,000 years ago, a semi legendary figure named Yu the Great decided to fight back. Previous leaders had tried to contain the river with dikes, essentially building walls to keep the water out. It didn't work. The water always broke through. You tried something radical. Instead of fighting the river, he worked with it. He spent 13 years leading workers to dredge channels, redirect floodwaters into the sea, and create a network of drainage systems that tamed the river's fury. The legend says Yu was so dedicated to this mission that when he passed by his own home 3 times during those years, he never stopped to go inside. His success didn't just save lives, it unified China. The massive coordination required to manage the Yellow River forced different tribes and settlements to work together under central leadership. Many historians believe this is why China developed a centralized government so early. Water management demanded it. Yu became China's first emperor, and water became the foundation of Chinese imperial power for the next 4,000 years. By the time Rome rose to power, water management had become an art form. The Romans didn't just use water, they engineered it on a scale the ancient world had never seen. Their greatest achievement, the aqueduct. Rome built over 250 miles of aqueducts, supplying the city of Rome alone, delivering up to 300 gallons of fresh water per Roman citizen per day. That's more than many modern cities provide today. It wasn't just about drinking water, water was Roman power. Cities with Roman water access boomed, populations grew, bathhouses opened, mills operated, trade flourished. Cities without it lagged behind. The Romans used water access as a political tool, rewarding loyal provinces with aqueducts, withholding them from rebellious ones. At their peak, Roman aqueducts supplied water to 11 cities across Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. And when the Roman Empire began to fall, when the aqueducts crumbled and weren't repaired, the cities they fed shrank almost immediately. Rome's population dropped from over 1 million people to just 20,000 in the centuries after the empire's collapse. The water left, the people followed. 4 civilizations, 4 continents, thousands of years apart, and yet the pattern is impossible to ignore. Every one of them rose by solving the water problem. Every one of them fell when water or the systems managing it failed. Mesopotamia's canals fed an empire. When political collapse stopped their maintenance, the land dried up. Egypt's Nile built a civilization that lasted 3,000 years. When the floods changed, the pharaohs fell. China's Yellow River threatened to destroy everything until Yu the Great turned that threat into the foundation of a unified empire. Rome's aqueducts were the arteries of a superpower. When they crumbled, so did the city. This isn't just ancient history. Today, over 2 billion people live in water-stressed regions. Historians and scientists warn that water scarcity may be the defining crisis of the 21st century. The ancient civilizations figured this out 5,000 years ago. The question is, have we? If you want to understand the rise and fall of empires, don't study their kings, study their rivers. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe because next week we're going deeper. We're asking, why did the most advanced civilization of the ancient world completely disappear overnight? The answer will shock you.